Well, it is back. Integrated intake, integrated engineering intake, 4-inch APR inlet, and a GTX 35 hybrid turbo kit from Silly Rabbit Motorsports. It has been over a year, but it's back and stronger than ever.
Since we're low on fluid.
Cylinder 1 misfire detected. This is at before we even did a pass. Cylinder 2 misfire detected. Well,
that's
around the pass, yeah. Maybe, presumably. Cylinder disabling.
I wonder if it's misfiring because of
a cracked piston or a cracked spark plug.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna jump right to piston.
Well, I would say we check cylinder 1 and 2, see if the spark plugs are. We'll gap all 5, throw them in, and hope the car runs. Otherwise, we scorched a piston or bent a rod or... Sounds pretty normal.
Sounds really normal. And no codes. Alright, let's go beat on it. She lives! Woo!
Hello and welcome to Hardway Learning. We have the RS3 back. It has been a year. It's been a long year trying to get this car back together. Basically, that recap brought the car in to get a leak down done. They found massive leaking, so they pulled the head off. They found a small gap between cylinders 1 and 2, and the pistons looked like they were melted. So some sort of detonation. Obviously ran lean. Had all the injectors flow tested and they all came back fine. We were on custom code stage 2, 93 octane, never ran ethanol on this car, 6,000 miles on it. 8 spark plugs, melted pistons, detonation, no more custom code for us. We had the car fully built. Let me get the build list here. Sent it out to St. Charles Garage. They had actually done an RS3 before. They're closer, so Charlie actually put the block in the back of his truck and drove it over there. Sleeve block, JE pistons, FCP X-beam rods, 12mm head studs, Freya competition plus intake valves, Freya super alloy exhaust valves, Freya PAC alloy valve springs, valve seals, gasket match, and pocket porting. We had dropped the engine back off at the place that tore the car apart in like March or April, maybe May, I don't know. And we were like, okay, we got the long block back, what kit are we gonna do? So we went to SRM because it was something that the shop is an APR dealer, so they have an SRM tune. We called around to Uni APR and didn't really get any clear answers on if an off-the-shelf tune would be okay with the pocket-ported head. So I called up VLM. He's like, okay, unlimited revision, so we're gonna go with VLM, hoping it's a great experience. So far, it's been fine. He doesn't have the infrastructure that like a Unitronic or a APR place has, but it's been fine. We have a base map now, and so SRM GTX 35 hybrid, not their new trick manifold, because we've been waiting so long. We just wanted to get the car back together, and the hybrid turbo kit was the only thing holding us up from putting the engine back in. So car is reassembled. Drove 30 miles home on braking oil. You're supposed to flush the oil, and when I was gonna flush the oil, I noticed grease. All right, so the car just came back from being put back together. It was torn down and assembled in River City Auto Works in River Falls. Just doing a quick inspection. It was basically a 30-mile drive to my house from the shop. Drove fine home, and I'm just doing an inspection, and it looks like a bunch of grease is all over here. So I don't know. I literally didn't go above 20% throttle, but there is grease all over the CV axle. So I'm wondering if that boot tore somehow, which is just like, what? Dan can attest. I literally babied the shit out of this thing. I don't know how that CV axle is torn. Going to assess this boot a little further. I don't know if you can see it at all, but there is grease all up in here. So that's not fun. That is not fun. Try to get as much oil out of the cartridge as possible. They make kits for this, but you know, I don't own an RS3, so gotta do it the sketch way. Do it the hard way. Little spring-loaded cap in there. Drain that as much as we can, then get the housing off. Okay, so really the only thing holding me up from finishing this oil change was a 74mm 14 flute wrench. We shall see if we can break free. Alright. Now, hopefully I don't get oil all over myself, but I probably will. Surprisingly clean. Let's take a peek at this filter here. Initial inspection looks fine. Supposed to cut it open and check for metal fragments. Don't really see anything in there. That looks alarming. So I think we proceed with the filling her up with some oil. After we cut this open, make sure, I don't really feel like you're gonna see anything. Really good rebuild. Filter looks pretty much spotless, so that's good news. Alright, so dropped the oil, inspected it, looked good, filter looked good, and then there was a little bit of metal shavings in the oil filter housing, but according to the break-in process, that's to be expected for the first oil change. As long as it's not copper colored, some metal shavings are going to be in a freshly built engine. That's why they have you drain it right away at 30 miles. So put some more break-in oil. We're going to do 200 to 300 more miles. But first, I have to fix the CV boot. So this was kind of a struggle bus, but it is a 24mm 12-point socket for the axle bolt here. So wedged a screwdriver in the rotor to hold it as you torque up. That's nice and loose. Gonna pound that. Oh, it's actually basically free because it's like a brand new car. So we are going to probably have to give myself some clearance, I'm probably gonna have to loosen the strut from the upright, lower the arm out, pop this out of the hub, and then pull the axle shaft out of the transmission. All right, removed the 10mm that was attaching the rad height sensor to the lower control arm. Get that out of the way because we're going to be dropping this strut. This is a, 14mm triple square for the upright. And then I think it's a 13. So, shock spreader. Wedge it between this little pinch. Just drops down like so. So we got the CV axle out. Called the local Audi dealership. He wouldn't even quote me a part without a VIN number. So I had Dan send me the VIN number because it was on the paperwork for the reassembly. Call him back. Give him the VIN number. Confirm. 2018 Audi RS3. We need an front inner passenger side boot for the CV axle. And he tells me it's this thing, and I don't think that's the same because it's bigger and it doesn't have these little things that capture the CV joint. So found that out at 5 p.m. on a Saturday, right when all of the local dealerships close, so I can't even go try and get the right one. So that's just one more little thing. So, dealership's closed. So I can't drive this car. It's now Sunday. Hopefully getting a boot this week. Hopefully can get the rest of the 300 miles on the break-in oil, on the second round of break-in oil, and then from there, send it. Get kicked out of the local drag strip for running a 10 without a cage. Maybe. But yeah, stay tuned. been a really long journey, and that is what happened to the car, and this is where it's at now. Hopefully makes like 700 horsepower when we're all jammed up with the boost. Oh, we're gonna have to put 4-bar map sensors in, and I don't know, maybe an ethanol content sensor, Charlie, so we can run corn. But yeah, this thing should be an absolute monster, and I look forward to experiencing